Let's bring in former federal prosecutor and Fox News contributor Andy McCarthy. From a felony to a misdemeanor, I call this, by Alvin Bragg, legal yoga, trying to come up with a charge against Trump. But how do you see it? Why now?
Well, I think now is probably because I think they're probably past the statute of limitations. But let's say, for argument's sake, that they can say that there was some activity here that happened in 2018. The statute of limitations, if he could prove a felony, which I don't think he can, would be 5 years. So he's probably at least up to that. But I mainly think, we're very Washington-centric in a lot of our coverage. It's just because the federal government towers over everything. So one of the things I think we miss is that these state attorneys general and prosecutors are elected officials. They're not like federal prosecutors. They're not like the attorney general. They don't get vetted by the Senate to determine whether they'll use their authority as a weapon. Bragg's an elected Democrat. This may be atrocious law enforcement. I think it is atrocious law enforcement, but it's good politics in New York.
So when I ran for Congress, I was governed by federal law, not Wisconsin state law, and the president is governed by federal law as well. How does Bragg make this a state charge? Is there a state statute that he's able to say Trump violated as opposed to what's happened federally?
So, Sean, it's a bootstrap, right? So he has to start with they falsified business records, right? So what they're going to say is that this payment where Trump reimburses Cohn for the hush money, that was a reimbursement of a debt in 2016, which was made to look like the payment of a stream of legal fees throughout 2017. So they'll say that's the false bookkeeping, right? To make it a felony, that's just a misdemeanor in New York, what I just described. To make it a felony, he has to show that Trump intentionally concealed another crime by doing this falsification. Number one, I think you're entirely right. I don't see how you prove a campaign finance violation here. It would only be under federal law because New York state campaign law shouldn't be relevant here. But even if you could prove it, and I don't think they could, this is why the federal prosecutors walked away from this case years ago, right? They had this case first. But you'd also have to show that Trump not only knew what this other crime was, but that he intentionally concealed it by doing the falsification of the records.
They're tied together, then they have to be tied together.
Yeah, but I think that the sensible interpretation of what happened here is he probably didn't want Melania to know that he entered into this hush money arrangement. He says the thing didn't happen, she says it did. It's irrelevant for the case whether it did or it didn't, but there is a hush money arrangement. And I think he would say he didn't want his wife to find out about that, and it would have been politically embarrassing if this had come out before the election. It wasn't to cover up a felony.
Yeah.
Did I say misdemeanor to felony? I hope I.
No, you did.
Okay, yeah. I hope I came out because I'm thinking, well, felony to misdemeanor. That's what we've mostly seen from
Bragg.
DA Alvin Bragg when it comes to regular folks.
Right.
But is it? And I raised this issue. Is it possible there's pressure on Alvin Bragg from outside sources? Because, again, of all the legal problems that President Trump is facing, whether it's in Georgia, in Fulton County, and you've written about this with the special counsel with Jack Smith related to the documents at Mar-a-Lago, even January 6th, it just seems like this is just absurd to pursue.
So I think, Dagan, the timeline is that we heard that Bragg had shut this investigation down a year ago. Suddenly it gets revived. Why? I think probably two things. One, they were hoping the mother lode was not going to be the Stormy Daniels thing. They thought it was going to be Trump's financial records, right? Bragg's predecessor, Cy Vance, goes up to the Supreme Court twice to get those. When they finally got them, it didn't turn out to be what the prosecutors were hoping. But what did happen is Tish James, the state attorney general, turned it into a big civil case. So it looks like Bragg punted, but she courageously filed a civil complaint. And then one of the prosecutors who was brought in by Cy Vance to do this investigation, Mark Pomerantz, ends up writing a book called The People Against Donald Trump. And I think that ratcheted up pressure on Bragg to reopen this and relook at it, and that's what he's doing.
Andy, only have 30 seconds,
Yeah.
but what concerns me is our founders were brilliant in how they set up checks and balances. We have prosecutors that are elected, judges that are elected, and we have juries of our peers. All three of those are liberal in New York City and all want revenge from Donald Trump. He's not going to get a fair shake here if this goes to trial.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that he's not getting a fair shake just from the prosecutors. Right. And they're bringing it in New York for precisely the reason that you're outlining. They think they can, if they get him in front of a jury, they'll convict him.
I've served on a jury here, and you might be surprised, Sean.
Oh, well, I hope
might
so.
be surprised.
Yeah, we'll see.
Andy McCarthy, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.